Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today for this session with CWE mentor and catalyst, Mr. Vijay Ladha, on my business today and tomorrow. I would quickly start. For a lot of you, you must be new to this CWE platform and a webinar with us. So I'll quickly take a minute of yours to tell us what CWE does. And then we'll move on to Mr. Vijay's introduction and hand over the session to him. So CWE is it's Catalyst for Women Entrepreneurship is an online-offline platform providing women entrepreneurs a platform to start up or scale up their businesses. How we do it is through the 5 access areas that we provide them, that we work with them on, that is finance, networks, business skills, technology, and mentorship. We have a very strong network of 21 mentors and catalysts and 24 global and national partnerships. And that's how we do all that we do. If you want to know more about the work we do or sign up, and for all the women entrepreneurs here to sign up as a member in our platform, please get in touch with our membership team at membership@cwe.org.in.
I would request the participants.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, Vijay, you were saying something. Yeah, so that's about what we do. Now I would just like to quickly hand it over to Vijay. So Mr. Vijay Ladha is an entrepreneur, a chartered accountant, and a pro bono mentor. Vijay has been with CWE almost since inception and has been a great and has immense experience of working with women entrepreneurs, apart from all other entrepreneurs. And Vijay is one of our mentors who is always approachable, always goes out of his way to help entrepreneurs, and will give you the most practical advice that you would need to hear in your business.
Okay, that's fine. I would do that then. Okay, good morning, everyone. There seems to be some mess up happening on the technology beyond us. Anyway, let's spend some time talking about businesses. I would wish to start with a little story, a story that would try and answer the situation, the questions that you may have about this. I would want you to imagine 20 years back, early 2000, one little man who used to sell groundnuts. Somebody used to sell groundnuts. Very diligently, people from Bombay understand what the need of groundnut. Anyway, it's a poor man's dry fruit. He used to sell groundnuts in a commercial area, very popular, every day, good groundnuts. So big business, made it into a regular good business. He educated his son well, intelligent son, sent him off to US, did his master's there and started working in US. So the year was approximately 2006-07, the fellow working in a big financial institution there. And then 2008, the big recession or the depression happened when we had the Lehman Brothers happen. And this son of his started messaging his father back home here in India, saying, hey, it's going bad, depression is coming, businesses are going away, jobs are going XYZ, every day some very depressing news. And this father of his who used to sell groundnuts on a commercial corner started believing what his son used to be saying. So he got scared and he started doing things for his own business, which was just selling roasted, boiled groundnuts. So next day when he went to buy his groundnuts, he bought cheaper quality groundnuts, saved some money. Third day when he went to buy, he bought lesser groundnuts, still cheaper. And people who were his regular customers for many years, who were very happy with his groundnuts, realized as to what's happening. The groundnuts are going bad. They are not as good. They are not as well roasted. He was saving on the coal, XYZ. And 15, 20 days, his business was all over. It was all done. Nobody would come to him because he tried saving on groundnuts. He tried saving on roasting them and everything else, which he was known for all these years. And his business went for a total closure. Now, I would wish to know if this was an effect of the Great Depression of 2008, for which Lehman Brothers was held responsible, or this fellow had his own doing, his own belief system, which made it happen. The difference is between two words, information and knowledge. Too much information all over the place for us, which does not transform necessarily to the knowledge it should. Exactly the situation we are living right now for the last 1 month. Too much information available to us from various sources, which are news, WhatsApp, emails, forwards, Facebook, and all the social media. And we have started believing what we have started believing. Is it the truth? Is it something that applies to us? I will stick to business per se. Is something we have never realized. So we have not transformed the information into knowledge, relevance to us. Each information is not knowledge. Few information which are relevant to us at that point of time in where we are in that point of time in our life or business are only relevant to us. Let's go back few months. I am taking you back few years. Let's go back to say 24th of January 2020. What is the relevance of the date? They're just 3 months behind. 1 month of lockdown we're completing today. 1 month before that, when lots of what's happening, what's not happening was happening. Well, in March, and we had our plans for taking the next year on, starting from April 2020. But something happened. What happened? We still are trying to figure out personally. Month, we kept hearing various kind of news, more of views, and 1 month of lockdown, and everybody seems to be depressed. It's what's happening. Period of 3 months from I would want you to perceive that in this period of 3 months, what has changed in us? What has changed in our business really? Has anything changed? How we thought of our business then in January 2020 and how we think of our business now? Has anything changed? I wonder if anything has changed. Let's sit down and imagine that if anything has changed. Maybe nothing much has changed, but it's all in our imagination. In these 2 months, every information that we received, we have transformed it into knowledge. And then we are wondering as to what is happening, what's going to happen, and things like that. We are not finding our answers. Let's look back. I presume the audience, whatever details I saw, are people who have been in business for some time, 2 years, 3 years or more. People who could be doing products or services, there could be some bigger people who have larger turnovers and larger number of people, but otherwise mostly people who are in 3 to 5 crores category, people who employ 10, 20 people. In these kind of businesses, over these 3 months, what has changed? If we were happy with our business on 24th of January 2020, what is that which has happened that today we are unhappy about it? Why are we unhappy about our business today? And not see as to what has changed about it. Have we questioned ourselves in these 3 months as to what has changed? If we were not happy with our business in January 2020, then those reasons are different. Now we are finding them to be an excuse and trying to put the whole load of our unhappiness on Corona. Let's not be unfair to Corona. Let's look back into ourselves as to what was there on January 2020 and what has changed in April 2020. Do we ask ourselves those interrogative questions which we should be asking our business and ourselves regularly, every quarter, every year, or we who have been doing business for many years are sitting with some very was different few years back when we started, was different 2 years back, and it's different today. Have we decided to change with that? Where is your market? The market has changed what it was many years back, what it was there 2 years back, and what it is today. Have we changed our target customer? Do we know who is our target customer? Why should a customer buy our product? Do we ask that question to ourselves and get an answer? The answer will differ from period to period and time to time. What are our competitors? What is their USP? What is our USP? Who are there to help us do our business? Our men, our logistics, our bank, who all are there in this, who are helping us do our business? Are we relying on them? Are we working on them? Are we making them issue for the whole thing? Have we redone our business processes ever over these periods? What do we do our business? How do we do our business? Have we tried learning any new skill set in the last 3 months particularly and over a period generally to make ourselves better? I feel it's a very better thing. If your business was fine 3 months back, nothing has changed in 3 months. Nothing would change ever for you. Do we have the data clear with us as to how many customers we had, what kind of business we were doing? If you're doing 2-5 crores business, if we had a market that we are catering to, which could be 100 customers or 50 customers, what is that could happen to us? People who could get affected are huge and big, who control the sector. But should we get bogged down by those things which we read, so much percentage in fall, so much of this happening, so much of that happening? I guess most of us have been manager owners of our business. We have owned our business and we also manage our business. So as a manager of the business that we are running, there are the 4 M's that you have to manage at any point of time, which is men, your team. Have we had the right people 3 months back that today we think they are not right anymore? What have we done to inculcate better skill set in our team? Second M would be material. Material could be raw material. If you are into production, it could be equipment and other tools that you need for running your business. Have we upgraded them? Have we invested ourselves in our business, in our material properly? Have we looked at different materials, that is different vendors, different suppliers for the products and services? Third would be market. Have we looked at different markets? Have we tried expanding, or we are in a comfort zone, very happy in the kind of market that we are in? Just not done anything about it. And fourth, which becomes a major issue for everyone who is into business, would be money. Money, money, money. The only reason for doing business. But have we tried at any point of time sitting down and looking at our revenue streams which change? How do we get our money? Who pays us the money? What do you do with the money that you save? I get surprised when people after 5-10 years of business with 2 months of non-business activity suddenly turn back and say, hey, big problem. What have you done for yourself for the last 10-15 years? Where is all that money gone? Are you not willing to invest that much here? Forget the lockdown, forget the corona. In past, people have been in business for some time. Can there be a reason which can really shut down your business for some time? Reason like a critical component not coming, a critical software not working for a very long time, bank not approving your loan for a month and 2 and you're waiting for it. Those things we have not been complaining. So what is that? This has changed. I sometimes feel for our kind of, which I would call SME business, please remember it is no more derogatory to be called an SME business. It doesn't mean that you're somewhere here, there selling groundnuts like that other fellow. Today, the government definition of SME business goes up to a turnover of 250 crores. I'm sure everybody here is lesser than that. Bigger than that, people won't be here to listen to me, I know. That kind of a SME business, do we invest enough skill set, enough money, relook at ourselves, or we just want to blame somebody? Many people, I personally feel, are using this situation and Corona for finding an excuse to do things which they had not done for a long time. Yesterday, big news came for Oyo is trying to remove people. Some airlines are trying to remove people. Paytm is having some issue. Go back and look at their results over the last 5-7 years. The results were never as interesting or as good. So are they in just 1 month trying to do something which they didn't do for the last 3, 5, 7 years? This is a pure excuse issue. In any case, all of us who are in the small little sector, a comfort zone really, it's time for us to look back, review, relook at everything that we ever did as to what you didn't do properly, what you should have done properly, and do it. In this 1 month of lockdown period, what have we done for ourselves apart from enjoying some cooking, doing some homework, housework, posting some fancy kind of messages? Have we tried using this period for reviewing our business, reskilling ourselves personally? Business plan, for me, I consider it a must for any business, but I know most business people have some kind of a repulsion towards that. Don't try to do that. I don't know why, but have we tried and imagined our business even in January 2020, that is far before anything happened? Had we sat down and imagined what next year would be like, what year after that would be like? Everybody is going gung-ho over period of uncertainty. When was period of certainty, can you tell me? Was last year a period of certainty? Future has always been uncertain. But today's uncertainty is something that's scaring you. Why should it be so? Why should you get scared of uncertainty? Uncertainty has been the only excitement that's available to us for the future. If everything could be predictable, if everything could be clear about the future, I don't know how could it be? How would it be? How will it take it up from there? I find most people I get to interact and talk during these times get mixed up between two important concepts, liquidity and profitability. Salary payments not being able to make in the month of March or April is a question of liquidity. It is not a question of profitability. People suddenly say, hey, how will we meet the expenses? So, will the bank give us money? Will the PM do something about this? No. Please understand it clearly as to what is a question of liquidity and which one is a question of profitability. You've been into business for many years, so I'm sure it's been profitable for you. Liquidity is a short-term issue. Have you not prepared yourself for it? What have you done with all the money that you've collected this period? Invested it maybe beyond business. So it's time to liquidate it and get it back into business. I think it's all positive for our size of business. It's all good. It's time to review ourselves, reskill ourselves, make changes that we can into ourselves, and just wait patiently for some time and take it up from there. To be running a small business is not a crime. To me, running a small business is a virtue, because smaller things have smaller issues to handle. Imagine the issues that are handled by huge big people. I have few questions which came into me here, which came into us really beforehand. Before I take up what would come now, let me try and answer some of them. Mrs. Neeta Adappa, she had asked how can one sustain a small time business in times of crisis like this? Neeta, it's simple. I've known your business. I know you. It's simple. According to me, it's simple. When you know it's a time of crisis, you do some course correction within, help yourself within to do what you can, and take it up from there. You you've been into business for so long. It's time to do some working course correction. Small set of customers, but loyal customer. There is nothing for you to worry. I think just use this period for doing what you can do to make your business better and take it up from there. Sia Sheikh had asked, how do small businesses survive after uncertainty, like basic tips of generating sales? Sia, small or big, you have the same issues into business all the time. Generating sales depend on your business, your set of customers, how you had decided before you got into that business. I hope and presume you had done the working for your target customer, where they would be, how will you reach them, how will you try and give your product or service to them. The same would continue. There's nothing new about it. Particularly, this is something you will have to decide for yourself, because it's your own domain, it's your own knowledge of the business that you've been doing. Kumud Sharma, she has asked how service sector is going to be impacted post-corona pandemic crisis in your view. Oh, well, my view really is, Kumud, nothing will get affected. When will the effect go away could depend on different businesses, different size, different everything. But if what you are providing as a service was relevant to the consumer, to the humankind, to the world in general, it would always remain. The methods may change a bit, which you have to be prepared for. One word which has been used often now, in just last 2 days, some changes in the whole world are coming up, is social distancing. And now people have started debating that it was really not social distancing, it was physical distancing. So please don't take it up social distancing, that we get isolated, we will live in our own little islands for all future to come. It really is physical distancing. Social distancing, a word used by somebody, and then our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, used it in a thing, and it became the word, but it is not social distancing. We are not going away from each other. We are trying to keep physical distance primarily for a health reason and nothing else. So, Kumud, this is the time to decide your service. The service would have changed from the time you have done. I know what business you've been into. The service would have changed. So sit down, decide it. Nothing to get scared with. If you have to redo your operations, you have to redo your manpower, get them rescaled, change some of them, get them back. That's fine. That could work. Mamta wants to know how to sustain high protein snacks product. Mamta, when you got into this business, you would have known if there is a demand for a high protein snacks product by a consumer. Anything which is consumed by a human being, which is needed by a human being, which technology cannot touch, will not go anywhere, which includes everything that's eaten, everything that is worn, everything that's needed for entertainment, everything that's needed for keeping human beings mobile. This would always and always remain. This will not go anywhere. So if high protein snacks are needed by the consumer, they would always remain. You would have thought of all this before you started, and so shall it be relevant today. Mr. Ravi wants to know what would be market response to motor vehicle sales after the lockdown is lifted? Hello. What was the response of market on motor vehicle sales before the lockdown is more relevant. Just because you're not allowed to drive on the road doesn't mean the motor vehicle sales have dropped. Those reasons are different. Everybody will have to look at that. Don't also assume that the petrol or diesel will become so cheap that it will get up. Every business has its own dynamics, its own reasons, and generally it does not work for any business sector or any business individual. We still have Mr. Vijay Ladha trying to be brought into this country for aviation, In the same country, we have some companies who have done great on aviation. So it's not about the aviation business. It's about the business man who does that particular business. So look at it from your point of view. Shubha has asked, in a downturn like this, how much should one invest in potential future growth, or should it be more of a wait and watch approach since this pandemic is unprecedented? Shubha, your question has your answer in it. Thank you for giving me the cue. You have asked, in a downturn like this, how much should one invest in potential future growth? The important word there is potential. So if you find potential in future growth, in a downturn or upturn, still invest. It is for you to assess if your future growth has a potential, which is potential to future growth is irrespective of everything, but depends on various things. So if you have a potential for future growth, go ahead and invest, immaterial of it's a downturn or an upturn, because you would have calculated based on your assumptions. Pushpa Kandaswamy has asked, reports say entertainment industry will be severely affected and for the long term. So what measures do we take to manage the situation? Pushpa, I don't know what business you are in. Entertainment industry was affected many years back. It's bloomed into various things. We in our lifetime have seen the coming of color TV, then serials, then private channels, and then now OTT. So you have the Netflix and the Amazon Prime. So they are suffering. The Bollywood, which is big business, is now trying to move directly into homes. So entertainment is a basic need of a human being. That will not go away anywhere. The way it is delivered and the revenue earned on that would change. So whatever is your little piece of pie in that entertainment industry, see it with the changing perspectives of the consumer, changing perspectives of the technology involved into doing it, and take your decisions accordingly. Padma Shri Gunalai wants to know status of bank loans. I won't know what is the status of bank loans. I know the status of banks has not been very good. I won't know what do you mean by status of bank loans, Padma Shri. So if you are here, kindly frame the question again. Rupa Shri Subramanian, we foresee a huge recession on the other side of COVID. We also see that big companies are certain to lose business. Is that an opportunity for small companies to bag more? Somebody's mic is on. Ayushi, can you mute everyone? Thanks. Can this be an opportunity for small companies to back some more extra business? Of course. This is the need. Don't foresee, you have said we foresee a huge recession on the other side of post-COVID, which is a very opposition kind of a statement. You see the world from your little perspective where you are. Business is all about seeing an opportunity, and I'm happy, Rupashri, you're seeing an opportunity that if businesses suffer, the smaller businesses will benefit because they are within control. They have smaller things to handle. They can scale up to what they need and scale down to what they don't want, which can't happen with them. So Rupashri, you're on a perfect thought. Skill yourself, make yourself better for that extra business. You are not on the losing side. Never imagine you're on the losing side. Bhagya Lakshmi wants to know what are the new areas of business after this pandemic. Oh, that's again very simple, Bhagya Lakshmi. Keep your eyes open. Read as much as you can anywhere on the internet, on the newspaper, and see what's happening. I could share with you a very small thing, because I teach also, so I get to do assignments and then I have to evaluate them. So some assignment which I've been currently evaluating from my students, that gives me some insight into how different people look at it. 2 days back, I was doing some assignment evaluation, and one girl said, I think interior decoration of household will become big business. The reason she gives is that because everybody is home now for a month, now they exactly know what is required at home for making it happier, better, comfortable. Otherwise, home was just a place you went and slept in, and after the housewarming, you never looked at it again. So she has looked at it from that point of view, that now after using the home extensively for a month, we know what is required at home. So I think home interiors is going to be a new upcoming business. Very interesting thought which never came to me, but it makes a lot of sense, I guess. I'm sure for that. Mamta, what will happen to manufacturing units who cannot pivot post-COVID? Mamta, how does it matter to you and me what will happen to them? Let's decide what will happen to us. So let's talk about our business. Let's not get into a general statement which doesn't mean anything. These things look fine when Arnab Goswami asks and people there answer it. But otherwise, the general statement as to what will happen to manufacturing units, and there has no real answer available to it. It can be hilarious if it can be answered, because today the automobile manufacturers are making ventilators. People who are making alcohol are making sanitizers. Big brands of garments and fabric are making masks. So you will have to change with the time. We all need to look at ourselves and take our decision and not go on any other decision. Suhas Kanekar wanted to know what is the future of B2C services. B2C services had good future in past and will have good future in ahead also, because what will happen, we are human beings, we need services as consumers, they would always have to be there. Nothing can go away from there at all. Pushpa is asking, can you repeat the answer to my question? I couldn't hear you. Pushpa, did I take your question? I don't have your question really, Pushpa. Right here again, Pushpa, I'll try and give you my perspective. We are looking at new markets at this moment as the regular route of sales are blocked. Any suggestion? Pushpa, for all these questions, one simple thing I would say is there used to be that old English idiom which used to be think out of the box. You know what is the new one? Which is very important, and I really like that. The new one is, why think there is a box. We first imagine there is a box and then we try and imagine ourselves out of the box. Please don't do that. So any which way, new market, new product, new customer, new revenue, anything which you think you can do with your product, use your time to do that. Corona or anything, please don't assume that this is the last pandemic which has happened. It may become an habit. I don't know if you are destined for a month holiday every year going forward, but life has to go on. Businesses have to go on. So please prepare yourself for everything and anything. Look at it from your small point of view. Don't confuse information with knowledge. Take the information, what is relevant for you to make your knowledge out of it. Only do that. Rest of it, very simply, easily ignore. Don't even forward it on WhatsApp to others. Pushpa, again, I was asking, we are looking at hiring new people by May. Should we wait for a few months or go ahead? Start the process, Pushpa. What's wrong in doing that? You don't know when you will get the right person. You may get the right person in May or June or may not get it. Never stop the process. Don't do anything till the decision making comes. The process has to keep going on. Have you stopped talking to your customers in 1 month? How many of us have made calls to our customers just to say, hey, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Have we stopped doing the networking with people during this time? No, we should not. Every moment, every time that we have allows us to keep connected all the time, everywhere. Mr. Ulhas, what are my views on snack center fast food business after the crisis? Mr. Ulhas, you're asking me this from KFC McDonald perspective, or you're asking me this for the Golgappa and the Momo counter on the corner? Different perspective, both are snack centers, both are food businesses, but different centric approach they will have to have. So you have to decide, where are you? Will food go away from life? No. Will outside food go away from life? No. What all changes will come into it is fine. The home delivery has come in now, become more popular right now. Cleanliness will maybe get a better fill-up for everybody and anybody. In any case, the Golgappa fellow was also wearing some plastic gloves and all that. Whatever, it is South Indian food, tea or Maharashtra breakfast, Mr. Das, it would still be The same. How will it differ? So, I mean, if you're asking me what do I think about it, I don't know. I eat everything, so it doesn't matter to me what it is, depending on when and what is available. But if you think the area you want to put this business into, if there are Maharashtrians, there are South Indians, and there are North Indians who will have tea also, then go ahead and do it. They will not stop having all this. They may only come with little suspicious eyes into when they walk into the place to see the cleanliness and all around. If you're going to be crowded, you're doing good business, more will not come, doesn't matter. If you're not crowded, people will come being happy with your social distancing and come and eat. So how does it matter? Oh, sorry, Neeta, it was showing you as Pushpa. Now I understand. Neeta, in your case, I did answer that earlier. Neeta, in your case, you're into a herbal cosmetic product thing. How will it change? What will change? Nothing will change. You anyway had moved to the markets abroad. You had also done all kind of logistics and online sales. You have a loyal base of whatever 100, 200, 500,000 customers. What would change post-corona? Those 1,000 customers will still use cosmetic products and more will use. So how will it make any difference? Nothing will happen. Use this time, make your better product, packaging, what cost saving, all that which will help you when you open up is important. The retail sale is closed, you are unable to deliver this month. That's fine. 1 month of not delivery doesn't help, doesn't make any big issue, does it? Hotels are closed now. Yes. You're referring to the institutional sale that you're making to the big star hotels for putting in their toiletry kits. Yes, that could take time to get back to our business. That's not something very easy because the whole hotel business will suffer because of n number of reasons. But let's accept it. They had bloomed too much. We had overcapacity in that business everywhere. The travel had increased, which will come down. The tourism had hit the roof, which will come down. Now even the business travel may come down. So yes, that is one sector. If it is a major sector for you, is going to slow down. Look at newer sectors. It does not affect you. It will take you a little time to redo your working and get back, but it does not make otherwise any change onto you. Mina, would new markets open up due to encouragement of local suppliers and would that be of reliable market? Mina, how were we doing business few years back when all this did not exist? The same thing we are doing today, right? People are still saying that we certainly got a lot of respect for our corner kirana store, which we had ignored for a long time because we started going to the mall. But they had existed, the kirana store is still existing and maybe doing very good right now. So this would always remain. Currently, you take what fruits, what vegetables we are getting are only what are grown in our kind of a city and around. We are not able to get anything from the north. I'm in Bangalore. We are not able to get anything from the north right here. So are we not eating it? Local suppliers would always get encouraged because they would be easier available. Logistics would be better. New markets would open up. People are taking care of it. Karnataka government is supplying mangoes pre-packed by P&T department in 24-hour notice that. And believe me, it's working. Yesterday I got my parcel. So things would happen. Things are happening. Suggestions for new markets is we are looking for new avenues now. This is Neeta, I guess. Here is Pushpa. Neeta, you're looking for new markets or you're looking for new avenues? They are two different things again. Please decide one. Which one is your first priority? A new market or a new avenue? Whichever is your first priority, do that first. The rest would happen later. Make your own priority. You're looking at a new product range, a new market, a new packaging, a new pricing, a new customer segment, whatever. Try everything out. They will work. The same way which you were doing pre-corona is what would work now. There is nothing which has changed otherwise, is it? What else have I missed out here? If you're looking at new markets, Neeta, it's maybe the right time to do it. Even yesterday was the right time and day before was the right time also. Markets is something we have to keep exploring to take care of better capacity utilization. Current is again a good time to look for new markets. If you have the capacity to produce, if you have the capacity to supply, then new markets are always right. Will third-party manufacture be a good option? It always is a good option. You have to decide the manufacturing profits and the marketing profits separately. If you think your manufacturing profits are not good enough and somebody can make at the same quality cheaper for you, then you should move to third-party manufacture. This has again nothing to do with the current situation. This is an everyday situation, everyday assessment we should do is we buy it cheaper or we make cheaper, which decides if it should be third-party manufacture. Sindhuja is asking, considering the physical distancing in picture, will there be a considerable rise in the fees in educational institution or other learning centers because centers have to maintain a less teacher-student ratio? Sindhuja, education in this country has been talking of undergoing a change for a very long time, and I guess now they found this excuse to do that change. It was needed, education change is needed for sure in the country, which it is coming through, and this would happen. Lots of changes will come. The fees will not go up because it's also become a very competitive session now. If it really moves on to electronic format, a school in Delhi may be available to somebody in Bangalore. So how does that matter? It can only become more competitive because once, if we can move on to electronic education as a strong medium, the geographical boundaries will absolutely go away. We are looking at doing it for others, doing third-party manufacturing for others. Yes, it should be looked at if you have the manufacturing capacity, if you have the capacity to control your cost, if you can handle the right quality and the right quantity, you should get into 100% utilization of your facility to manufacture. So it was always done in the past, it should be done today, it should be done tomorrow. You have to decide you're good at manufacturing it or marketing it. If you are good at both, you have a problem because there are very few people who can be good at both. Normally, nobody is good at both. So decide one which you are good at, manufacturing or marketing, and concentrate on that. I'm sure it will work best with you. Have I left anything else in between? Ayushi, are you keeping a track? Because this has been moving up and down, so I don't know if I have left anything. If anybody has anything to ask, start your video. Please come online and ask. Mamta ji, I don't know what I missed. Could you please ask again? Sorry if I missed something, Mamta ji. Ask again. Do you say that nothing has changed for new and early social enterprises that meant working with SHG? I would not understand SHG really. And physical distancing had hit hard. If you could expedite on SHG, I would self-help group. Okay. Working with self-help group can be done with physical distancing. Physical distancing is just talking to somebody from a little distant. It doesn't mean you're not meeting anybody or doing anything with it. So why will it not work? It will always work. Social enterprises should have a revenue model. It should benefit you by revenue. It should benefit the beneficiary into whatever you're trying to do. Physical distancing is not what would hit a self-help group. I'm sorry. We will all, I think, stand a little far from each other for many years to come and talk. But that doesn't mean we will not talk. That doesn't mean we will not socialize. Please, that is what people are realizing now, that it is not social distancing, it is physical distancing. So if you are going to be away from somebody by 5-6 feet and talk, it will still work. With self-help group also it will work. Why will it? Currently it is hitting hard, maybe because it's all closed. You can't have any movement happening, and self-help group may not be possible to do on an online basis. That is why nothing would happen. Allstate.in. Digitization of documents will increase. It has already increased. It should increase more. Cash vouchers, etc. be digitized. Voucher should be digitized, or the voucher supporting should be digitized. They are two different things again, Mr. Ajoy. The vouchers anyway, if you're using a software for doing your accounting, you're not trying to print those vouchers. Unless your auditor is asking for an authorized signed copy, you need not print a cash voucher anymore. Cash supporting can be kept with a number written on the supporting cash voucher and filed separately. In any case, today, income tax is not asking for any physical papers. They also want only scanned papers and sent. There are no more physical hearings happening. It'd be GST or it'd be income tax. So nobody wants any physical paper. So digitization is something which is already into place. All the government departments want only digitized papers. If you're looking at the possibility of a business to digitize papers, well, yes, I think there are many people who are doing that. It could be happening more. Digitalization is the new thing. Though I was into some kind of a discussion with our college group some time back. And let me warn you here, the next pandemic they are fearing is a digital virus. Now everything is going on the cloud. Everything is getting digitized. So the fear is if something happens there and everything that we think doesn't happen is what is happening right now. That is the next one they are fearing. So please take care of yourself digitally or non-digitally. Look after yourself better. Mr. Ajoy, I hope I answered you my view. That is, you are trying to do this for your own business, or you're trying to do this for somebody else's business. I am not sure on that. Mamta ji, you moved on to non-essential business now from social business. What is a non-essential business? The way you read in the newspapers that people are not buying TVs, white goods, all that become non-essential business. Business, if there is a non-essential business, that is not a business. Please don't go on the definition of the government which they are trying to use for implementing some rules of essentials and non-essential. You would have read that WhatsApp thing which came some time back saying that everybody is getting what they need and the economy is suffering. So what does it mean? Were we buying a lot of things which we didn't need? Yes, as a human being, we have the tendency to do it. But what do you mean by non-essential business? Let the government use non-essential business. For the consumer, for the world, everything is essential at different point of time in a different manner. Sucharita, which sector will be attractive to angel investors? Oh, well, I would wonder now if angel investors will remain, they may go back to heaven. Investors, let's talk about investors, angels or otherwise. Most of them who have investors think that angel is a wrong word for it. Anyway, all sectors which are attractive to investors a year, 2, 3, 4 back will still remain attractive. So Charita, I feel because they invest for refund, for return on their investment. So any sector they find a return is going to come, they will invest. They will maybe invest on sanitizer, on the mask, on X, on Y, on Z. So they have the same reason what they invested last time, and they would invest the same thing if they invest further. SMEs should look within first. They need not look for angels and mentors. Sorry saying this. This may appear to be a little cut and dry. Which is, SMEs need to first look at themselves. If they have a business which has a need, if they have a proper revenue model, if they've made a good business plan and they can offer a return, any angel will look at them. Why should an angel not look at them? The problem is, I find this problem that many SMEs go to investors almost with a begging ball and say, hey, give me money. I have an idea, give me money. When the investor asks why, He said, because I don't have money. But that's not the reason why the investors give. If your business is valid, revenue possible, customer centric, any investor will give you the money. Do a role play, look at your own business from outside and see if you will invest in that business. If you're not willing to invest in that business idea, the investor will not also. You have to have a return on his investment possible all the time with reasonable assurance. It can't be fully assured because the investors know how much risk they will take and accordingly they will decide. Mamta ji, now you move to funding. So from social sector to non-essentials to funding. Funding anyway, I want to say. Funding, what I mean by funding is investment, not funding the way government funds. No. People would invest in your business if you have a right business plan or which proves that you know what you're doing. The business has a possibility of making profit. The investor will has a possibility of making profit. The investor has a possibility of an exit from the business. You will get an investor. If you can answer these basic questions about your business, investors are there for you. Mr. Venkat Krishna, will the bank's perception towards SME change? Why does it need to change, Mr. Venkat Krishna? I think that business perception is very good towards SMEs. Really, current situation, the SMEs of the general public doesn't have a very good perception with the bank. My take on this is, if you notice, government is trying to only promote a body corporate. For a new business, you should make a company. They are not trying to promote sole proprietorships and partnership for a simple reason that it gets better corporate governance. You have more rules to follow, you have more compliances to handle, and hence they are only trying to promote private limited minimum. How do I say it? Why do I say it? If you go back and look at income tax, the income tax rate on private limited company or a body corporate is lower than partnership or personal. Am I right? Please go back and check. A company profit is taxed today 25% or less, at 22% if you're SME and a new startup, wherein as a partnership or as a sole proprietor, your rate is 30%. Is it wrong to doing that? Have we got up saying, why can you do this to us and not tax the companies? No, because we are moving into an era where there has to be a better compliance. And hence, if you go to a bank with the right documents, prove to bank the way you prove to an investor that you know what you're doing, you have profitability, you have the possibility of returning the money, and you have the corporate governance and transparency being a private limited, there's no question it will change. But if you go to the bank with a partnership and trying to still prove and say something, it doesn't work, I guess. So it's all how you look at it. I think we're nearing the end. Ayushri, can you take it up from here?
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you so much, Vijay, for answering.
I don't know if I could complete. If there's anything else, tell people to connect me through you.
Yeah, Vijay, we'll do that, surely. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today for this session. I hope it was informative, and Vijay, I'm sure, could answer all your questions and give you some give you some thought to process and work upon after this session. If any of you want to connect to Vijay as for follow-up questions, please do write to us at ayushri@cwe.org.in, and we will make the connect. Apart from that, we have, like we already said, the membership ID has been given. The membership ID has been given where you can get in touch on chat. So please check the chat and take a note of that. It's membership@cwe.org.in. Please get in touch with us for anything that you want to know about the work we do and how we can help you to grow your businesses. Thank you again, everyone. Vijay, thank you so much for taking out time and taking this session and answering all the questions.
Pleasure is mine. Anytime I can do something, I am available.
Sure, Vijay, always. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Ayushri, what's the next webinar?
Yes, the next webinar we have. Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, the next webinar we have is by our member, Ms. Parul Malik, who's a life skill coach and a counselor and a trainer on reflections within. So please do join us. It is on the 1st of May, Friday at 3 p.m. You would surely get all the communication. So please do register and join us for that webinar. And we have a series of webinars coming out, and we would be sending communications to all of you. We request you to please join us for our webinar and stay connected. Also, all our webinars will be available on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to the channel. The link is on the chat box, and follow us on all the social media so that we can you can stay updated with all our updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.